Today is day 15 of 100 Days of Code as I'm learning the Python programming language and tracking myself by video to hold myself accountable, as well as track my progress. So today, my focus was while loops. On day 13, I went over for loops, and the difference is with for loops, you generally have a fixed number that you're working with, and that it's looping as it's going through each item. And with the while loop, it continues while or as long as the condition is true. So if I were to give you just a simple example of that, if I said A equals to 5, and let's say while A is less than, let's say, yeah, 10, it'll print true. And then we want to increment it by, let's just say 1. So I'm going to put A equals A plus 1, which will increment it, but you can also do this by simply putting A plus equals 1. And that's going to add 1 each time as it counts. And then we'll say else print false. Now I also want to list the numbers as it's looping through and counting them. So I'm going to put A here. And because A is an integer, we need to turn it into a string. So I'm going to put that like so, and then I'll do the same down here. Okay, let's see. Am I missing anything? All right, let's run this and see. I can put a space here. So A equals 5. This is our variable, and this is the value of our variable. So while A is less than 10, it'll be true. So it's 5, it's true. When it's 6, it's true. When it's 7, it's true. When it's 8, it's true. 9, true. And then once it finishes the loop, and now it's false. And that's just a simple example of how the while loop works. So let's do one more. And I will say that we're working with a queue and there's detections that are coming into a queue. So if I were to say number of detections equals, let's say it's currently at 75. So while the number of detections is less than 100, we'll say that it'll print no alert. But once it goes over 100, we'll say that it'll alert us. So we're going to do that. I'm going to say else print alert. So anything over 100 will alert us. Okay. So again with this one, if we want to track it with our number of detections. And so I'm going to put the number of our detections here. And it'll say no alert. And the reason that I put string is because this is an integer and you can't have a string and an integer right here in the same statement. So I'm converting it into a string. And then we'll do the same thing down here, just to track our number of detections. And I'll put a space so that there's a little space. One more thing I want to do is increment it. So it's going to count by, let's say it counts by, and we can put that right here. And remember, your indentation is very important. Everything that's indented after the while is going to execute based on that condition, and the same for else. So let's increment our number of detections by 1. Or actually, let's do it by 5. I'll run it and see. So it starts at 75 and it increments by 5. So 80, there's no alert. 85, no alert. 90, no alert. 95, 100, no alert. Once it gets to 100, see, now it's saying that it's an alert. So to fix that, we need to add 1, and then this should run. Anything over 100 alerts us.